unlike you guys that are probably where you can see everyone, I only see one person because I'm on my phone and I don't have a computer. And I've been doing coaching from my phone for 2 years and managed that Success Club every month, which, okay, that doesn't mean much to any people, but you guys don't know what that means for like the challengers. But what it means is that like, you don't need this big setup. You don't need to have these elaborate things. Like I have my little phone that has cracks in it and it works for me. And I think that's awesome. So that's a blessing for me. I'm going out of order, but that's a blessing for me that I'm able to make it fit into my life and fit into, I don't have to have extravagant things or do extravagant things. I can do what works for me. And the people that I've met, Marissa is absolutely right. Like the people you meet that truly have your best intentions in mind, like it's amazing to actually be surrounded by such strong, powerful, and amazing women. And it makes you want to continue to like learn and grow. So I've really, really loved that. Challenges, probably all on me. My being intentional when I do have free time after the girls. I have twin daughters that are almost 3 after that. So I started when they were a year old. After they're in bed, I kind of sometimes want to veg out and scroll mindlessly, and I can get all of my work done in the same time that I would be doing spent scrolling mindlessly. So it's just kind of keeping myself in check sometimes. Treat, chocolate, anything chocolate with peanut butter, even better. And then one of the ladies mentioned I have to have my treats of my beer. So welcome.
Awesome. Cool. Jennifer.
Hi, everyone. So I live in Texas now. I am from Kentucky and lived there my whole life. And we moved to Texas after living in Germany for a few years. I honestly don't know anyone. I have one person that I have made a friend with here in Texas. And then I've got Jenny, who's from back home. But I've been coaching technically for like 5 years. I would say I probably actually started really trying to coach about 3 or 4 years ago. And one of the biggest challenges I think I've had is just getting over myself, like not worrying about what other people think or care, or, because this is bigger than what anyone else thinks, honestly, so I finally, that's clicked for me over the last year, I don't care what other people think, honestly, because I know what I'm doing is good and it's impactful. Biggest blessings as a coach. One of the big things that I mentioned in my video, if you saw it, is the community or the friends. Like I was super isolated when we lived in Germany. And honestly, having people that I was talking to like online in my groups and stuff, they like kept me from feeling so alone. And it's, and even here in Texas, like I don't have a lot of people I know. So it's kind of the same, like I have all these people that I get to talk to and interact with, and I love it because it fills me up and I don't have to leave my house. So, and then my favorite treat food, brownies, any day of the week. I will eat probably 10 at a time if they're there. Pizza and tacos. So that's it.
Awesome. Michelle, will you jump in? And then I have a crying baby upstairs and my husband is not home. So I'm going to go check on the baby. And if I'm not back, the questions for our guests are in the chat and somebody can take that. I'll be right back. So Michelle, go for it.
You got it. This is real life. I just got back from, I worked all day and then we are designing a kitchen because we just bought a new house. So that was kind of cool. So I got to lay out my new kitchen today. So location, I live in Montana. So we are super cold. It is 22 degrees outside and we have snow on the ground. I work outside from 9 to 4 every day at a propane place. It's still considered part-time, but that's what I'm doing. So I work in snow pants pretty much all day. I've been coaching for 5 years. My biggest challenge.
Michelle, I don't mean to interrupt, but could you please tell me where you're from again? I'm so sorry. I was talking to my husband.
Yeah, I'm from Montana.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, we live in the Bitterroot Valley and it's beautiful. My husband's family's been here since the early 1800s. And I was a Navy brat, so I never had that home base. So it was really, it was very different to live in some place for a long time. I've never done that before. So my biggest challenge with coaching, I would say, is just worrying about what other people think. And that's something that I'm working on. And I love Jennifer because she's like, I don't care. Just share it. So that's a good thing. But basically, I get in my own way sometimes. And I worry that people won't think the things that I think are cool. And so I need to get better at that. So I'm doing some personal development about that right now and working on trying to get over that. It's making me a better person. So I think probably my biggest blessing is personal growth as well, because it's made such a difference in my relationships with everybody. So because I can show up more authentically, because I have more confidence, because of, working out, feeling better in my body, being in a leadership role for my own business is very different than being in a leadership role in corporate America, which is what I've done my whole life. And so it's so you kind of have to get over yourself. But the community has been the biggest blessing besides the personal development, for sure, because I never really made a lot of friends because we moved so much because I was in the military growing up. So having a group of women that I've known now for years, and going on trips and doing that kind of thing and getting to know people has just been really a blessing. My favorite treat, hands down, 100% ice cream. Any kind of ice cream, I don't care. In a waffle cone, I'll eat 4 scoops at a time. It's bad.
All right, I'm back. Nothing like waking yourself up with a really big poop. So welcome to real life, friends. She's 17 months. So I have an 8 and a 7-year-old and a 17-month-old. So Cindy Stahl, I'm going to call on you. Cindy is a new coach. So Cindy, we're just doing coach introductions, just real quick. But how long have you been coaching? What's your biggest challenge as a coach and your biggest blessing? She's my coach too, so I'm making her
a whole month. I've been a coach for a whole month. I have one person that did a challenge pack and now has ghosted me. So I'm like, I keep trying to reach out to her, but that's been a challenge. And I had another girl that seemed very interested, and now she's not answering my messages. So that's my biggest challenge, I think, is when to say when. What do I do? I don't know. I don't want to be a pest and keep feeling like I'm bothering people. Although she did sign up to be in the group, and she signed, she has a challenge pack. She's ready to go, but she started a new job, and I know she's really busy with her new job. So I'm trying to be, sympathetic to that. And the other girl, I don't even know what to say about her. I'm not sure.
Well, I think you bring up a great thing that is important for us all to remember, which is the fact that we have a responsibility on the coach end, for sure, but people have the responsibility on their end too. And there are times where we can do everything we can. And all the coaches that are here would say this. We've all probably experienced that. And so you're completely normal. And so to those of you who are thinking about coaching, don't be like, oh my gosh, but it's like, no, like think about any relationship, right? It's a two-way street, and anything, especially in this type of thing, we're dealing with vulnerable stuff, and and it takes time to invest in ourselves, but it's worth it. And you know that, Cindy, and you live that out, which is great. What's your biggest blessing as a coach?
Just being able to share the experience that I've had with other women that are going to be approaching menopause and feeling the same way that I do.
Yeah.
Or yeah, I mean, I feel like the other challenge that I feel is that I don't know what to post. Like I'm struggling with that.
And that's something we'll keep talking about too.
Mhm.
But I think a lot of the questions that came up throughout the course of the group was really kind of pointed back to the importance of personal development and continuing to grow ourselves. And so that's something that, like as your upline coach, I can guide you through, but also it's a process. We kind of are figuring it out as we go. We're learning. So yeah. So Cindy, what's your favorite treat food?
Oh boy. I'd have to say ice cream.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Vanilla, not chocolate.
All of it? Can that be my answer? Did I miss any other coaches? I'm looking through the screen. Did I miss any coaches? Okay. I'm just I popped it into the chat, but just for those of you who have joined us tonight, where are you coming from? What interests you most about coaching? What are your big lingering questions? And then what's your favorite treat food? So Jenny, you are to my right on my screen, and I've appreciated your smiling face, so I'm going to let you go first.
Well, I'm Jenny Harkins, and I have kind of followed Shen Nelson for a bit. I got a little bit lost for a little bit. But what motivates me is that I have 3 grandbabies, 7, almost 3, and 9 months. And I just want them to look up to me as far as healthy living as they do their mother. My daughter is a marathon runner and she's a badass. So she finished her bachelor's degree pregnant with 2 other kids and finished her undergrad degree. She's kind of a badass. So, I am a fair weather exerciser, not gonna lie. What interests me most about coaching is that I feel like I can help other people. I had a Roux-en-Y gastric bypass in 2001, and I'm probably about 25 pounds shy of where I would like to be as far as that goes. So that's a big thing for me. I hate to waste that opportunity that was given to me in order to feel good. So I know what weight I need to do to feel good. Not that numbers are a thing. I don't mean that. Because I do feel really kind of fucking sexy in my skin. Sorry if anybody's offended. But I'd feel better in here if I had that, that number, I guess, that we all look for. Yeah, so I guess that interests me most about coaching. I would love to have those folks that have had those bariatric surgeries and, it's been such a long time ago. And then, now we're kind of, not that I'm back to where I was before. I don't mean that, but I need to, I guess I need to rein that in so that it doesn't go back to the way it was. And my lingering question, I suppose, not gonna lie, totally not gonna lie about you guys, is how much money will I make? And I know Jen, I'm sorry, Jen, but I know I know that you guys have been really transparent about that. Um, I'm a nurse educator for Galen College of Nursing, that's based in Louisville, Kentucky. I teach labor and delivery, which is what I did most of my time, except for when I knew Jen, when I did transplant. So, so I'm now teaching LPN students fundamentals, which I'm going to love. And I did that because I'm starting to work on my doctorate degree soon. So, anyway, so that's that's kind of the biggest thing. My treat, anything crunchy, like those complex carbohydrates, like a whole thing of Pringles. Bam, done. 15 minutes. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie. It
They're
is
dangerous.
hooray cray. So I'm really glad to be here, and I hope that I hope that it's helpful not only to me but to somebody else that may be in my same position. So happy to be here, you guys.
And thank you for your honest question. That's a great question. And I think, if we're going to spend the time doing something and doing a job, first of all, isn't it great to like think, oh, I could do a job that would be life-giving and help me move forward. But also, I mean, we do jobs because we need money, right? Also. So make sure for all of you, if you didn't check out the Show Me Your Money post Carrie put up last night, a lot of us coaches have kind of been chiming in. Income disclaimer, nothing's guaranteed. It depends on our hard work, our commitment to growing, all that kind of stuff. But the potential, when I first started, I was like, holy smokes, like the potential's amazing. And when you think about it's all wrapped around helping people change their lives, that's kind of great. So I'm going to jump to Amy. Amy, if you would share just where are you? What interests you most? Lingering question, favorite treat? Oop, I think you're muted. I can't hear you. Well, you're unmuted. Can anybody else hear her? Okay, it's not just me. Oop, try now.
She's super cute though.
I know.
Like, right?
Well, let's do this, Amy. Did you join with your audio? Did you connect your audio? Yeah, do this. Why don't you go ahead and type yours into the chat? I'll have someone else go ahead and share while you're doing that, and then we'll get to you. So thank you. Let's see. I see Nell's iPhone.
That's me. I'm Danielle. So I'm Danielle. I'm from Wisconsin, Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. I actually went to high school with Stacy, and I've been following her path it's been over a year now, actually. I've been seeing her posts, and about a year ago, she got me interested in Beachbody. My goal, what interested me in coaching, is really to help me with work-life balance. I have more work balance. I have more work than life. So I feel like if I have some type of obligation almost that I create myself, that it might help with the life balance part of it too. For work, so I'm a pharmacist, so I'm a healthcare provider and work at a hospital. So as you can imagine, it's kind of nutty. And I found that even working out for 30 minutes a day really helps me stop thinking about work, essentially. And then also the second piece is the accountability piece. So I typically feel like I'm held more accountable if I have people that I'm overseeing. So that is one of the big drivers for coaching. In the future, in the long future, like talking, my husband thinks like 5 years, I'm thinking probably more like 15. He would love to basically sell all of our stuff and go RVing. which would require me to quit my job, or try to find something remote, which is really hard to do as a pharmacist. They don't like me selling drugs out of my camper. That's not usually recommended. So I thought that this might be, I want to see where this can kind of take me, and kind of go from there. I guess my big question is like, how much time do people spend, maybe I say on a weekly basis, versus how many people are they overseeing? Because I know that obviously if you have, 3 people versus 30 people, the time commitment can be a little bit different. So I'm trying to gauge like how much time it takes based on how many people you oversee. And I would say probably my favorite treat food. I'm torn between tacos, because you can do anything with tacos and put a lot of stuff on tacos. And my grandma's favorite thing to make us as a kid was actually fried Cheerios. Sounds super weird, but it's I'm obsessed with fried Cheerios. So yeah.
That's amazing. In these here Pennsylvania parts, sometimes they do fried Oreos, but I've never.
Oh, sure. I've had deep fried Oreos before.
Yeah.
One of my friends, they actually made bacon wrapped Oreos, and they smoked them on a smoker for like 6 hours. I haven't tried those yet, but I really want to.
Wow. Cool. This call is all about learning new things. So my favorite line of the night thus far is, you can't sell drugs out of your camper, or whatever you said.
I don't think they allow that.
All right. And we're on to Jess. Hey, friend, who I haven't seen in like 5 million years.
Hi. So I am joining tonight from Northern Virginia. And Emily and I went to Penn State together forever ago. And so I would say what interests me about coaching is, just like a lot of people have already said, similar to many of you, what you've shared is like the accountability, because since I became a twin mom as well, my twins are 20 months old. It's been so hard to get time to myself. And, I work full time, and of course COVID has thrown a wrench into everything, which has made it even harder, right? Like I had a gym membership, which I wasn't doing. I had an awful pregnancy, and suffered a lot and had a really bad, health issues. And so sadly I couldn't work out. And up until that point, like I had always envisioned if I ever had kids that I would be that like crazy pregnant woman doing Zumba 3 days a week, because that's what I did. I was super active. And then once I got the blood clots and everything, it was too dangerous for me to work out. So my life just drastically changed through pregnancy and then after having the children. And then because of that, like health scare, while I was pregnant, my priority shifted. And so having my children, it really just was like, it's no longer about me, it's about them, because like, I'm just happy to be alive and to be here. And so through all of that, right, it's been really hard for me to focus back on my own just health and fitness. And so I would say I need that accountability. I've always loved working out with people. I don't love, doing it on my own. And so that's why it's hard. Like if you can see behind me, there's a whole gym here, and like I can probably count on one hand the number of times I've used it. So I like the idea of doing something, that keeps me accountable and that is social. And that would be, working out, because I do like to work out. I just really like to do it with people and like at classes, and high COVID, we can't do that. So that's what interests me the most. My lingering question, I did see somebody post, I didn't catch it the whole way, right? But I saw somebody said something about like, is this like a multi-level marketing something? And then I didn't see the response. And so that would sort of be my lingering question, is like, what would make this different and distinct from other,
So you're wondering if it's a Ponzi scheme. Is that what you're, you know what I mean? I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Is it a pyramid scheme?
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
trying to be nice about that, but yes, thank you. That's exactly the question, right? So
It's a valid question and a common one. So, and your favorite treat food?
My favorite treat food is anything sugar, all forms, but mainly ice cream as well. in any kind. I don't discriminate.
Awesome. Let's see. And Amy, thank you for jumping on the chat from Wisconsin. We join under Stacy. Awesome. Biggest interest is it is a full package, exercise, nutrition, and personal development. Yes, that's huge. Also, the community and accountability that comes with this team. I feel I excel in exercise and personal development. Nutrition is still a work in progress. You are not alone, my friend. My lingering question is my approach and how to articulate. I don't feel I'm good at getting across my point. Favorite treat is chocolate, but only with a cold glass of milk. Awesome. Thank you, Amy. Thank you for jumping in there. Awesome. Did I go back to my gallery view? I think we heard from everybody, right? Oh, Gabby, how could I forget? I am so sorry, my friend.
It's
Just-
okay. Hi.
Hey.
I'm Gabriella. I live in Akron, Ohio. I just got married a month ago, and it doesn't feel odd to say because it's just wonderful. But I just got married a month ago. These questions. So, what interests me about coaching? Everyone's been saying it. I need the accountability. I'm preparing for. I'm a music instructor, and I'm also I'm a violinist. I'm striving to after getting my master's degree, I'm just trying to get ready to go into perform in an orchestra, and in order to do that, I had to prepare for auditions. And it's like a kick in the butt. And so right now I have a personal teacher telling me like each week what I'm doing wrong. I know that's really bad to say, but like keeping me accountable and making sure I'm doing what I need to do in order to grow, in order to make it to this dream that I have right now. And that's what I need through this. I need the accountability. I honestly need it from other women such as yourselves in order for me to have my dream of being in a healthy lifestyle. And I find that if I'm just by myself, I won't. So I think that's the number one, and everyone's been saying it. But that's definitely the one for me. But also to be financially independent and finding how I can have my own business, how I can have the courage to go and do something out on the limb and support other women, but still help me and reach my goals. So that's something else that I'm excited about too. In regards to any lingering questions, I think everyone has asked all the questions that I've been asking. I think everyone's been telling me about the routine in the videos that I've been watching, so that's been very helpful. I'm curious to see how much time you really spend each day on your business. If every day is a different day, or if you just spend a little bit of time. I think we've touched about it, but I think I would just want to hear more about that. And how much do you need to invest in your, like you said, I think one of the videos said that we would have to buy a completion pack, and if that we would have to do that each and every time, or if it's just the first time. I'm just or just because we already, like for me, obviously we have our the Beachbody membership. Do we have to just buy
We'll
Go
start
ahead.
with that question in just a moment. So yeah, that's a great question and a really
Oh.
important one. So
Okay.
I'm glad you asked that.
Thanks.
Awesome.
And then favorite treat food, anything that's left out. So if there's like tacos or candy, if I see it, I will eat it. I'm a part nanny, and so I have like, I take care of 3 kids at once at sometimes, and literally like there's candy everywhere. There's like donuts. There's so many sweets. I have to put it away so I don't have to look at it. And it's not even my house, but I have to put them away because then I'll eat it, and I don't want to. So that's a little bit more information, but there you go. That's
Awesome.
me.
Thank you. Well, and let's just jump right into the question of what do I have to invest? Here's the super cool thing. The only money that you put into this business is what you're spending on your own personal health. So it's a very minimal fee to start, and that gets waived with the purchase of a Challenger completion pack, which is not something that needs to happen every month. So basically, you know, most coaches, if you're actually coaching, are using products every month because it's hard to sell something that you're not willing to use yourself. But with Shakeology being kind of the primary one, and not just because we should drink it if we sell it, but because of the quality, because one of the things that I think all of the coaches would speak to is the more that we have learned and read and the trainings that we've gone through, it's like there's really no comparison to other things. And I will share later this evening after this call a video from our company that kind of tells you why it's different, but and what kind of sets it apart. But bottom line is, you know, if you were starting a different business, glasses are crooked. If you were starting, you know, a brick and mortar business, gosh, you would invest so much money. In this case, it's like I'm going to pay especially this month, $140, and I get 2 elite nutrition programs and a year subscription to Beachbody On Demand and a month supply of Shakeology. Oh, and I have a business now. It's like the challenge then is treating it like you just invested $10,000 in a business instead of $140, is recognizing like, holy crap, I have this amazing opportunity. So the cool thing is, that's why some people join purely for the discount, is because we don't have to keep pouring in. And yeah, Amy just said we don't have quotas. We don't have, you know, we don't have to have the Shakeology on hand to ship out to people. They take care of that. So it's kind of a beautiful thing. I want to honor people's time for sure. It's on the Eastern Standard Time. It's pretty late. So we'll speak to some of these questions. We may not get to everything, but I want to encourage you to keep the dialogue going. And I want to thank you each for sharing honestly. You know, there's not really a question at this point for many of us that we haven't heard, and we are open. Ultimately, the point of this group is we want you to feel comfortable to kind of talk through it and to understand and feel good about the decision if you choose to join us. But I think some of the biggest questions that have been coming up here have had to do with time commitment. How much do I pour into this? Some of us, you know, I think what I'm going to ask, and I know this is going to be hard from the coaches, is can you share, like, on average, whether it's per day or per week, about how much time you put into the business? Now, keep in mind, if someone has 2 challengers, 2 customers, or they have 5 customers, that's different than if, you know, at this point, 6 years in, my groups typically have anywhere from 30 to 40 per month that are actively involved. I'm putting a little bit more time in there, but my income's also bigger. And as people grow it, you know, that changes. So don't hear someone say, I put in 20 hours a week and go, oh, shoot, I don't have that time. The beauty is you kind of can make it what you want it to. And as you grow the business, typically, you know, it requires a little bit more time. But coaches, what would you say? And you can just kind of pop in and say, and I need to actually think of my answer on this. I don't even know. Marissa, what do you typically put in?
I'll tell you right now, when I started the business, I worked 60 hours a week and I put maybe 15 to 30 minutes of intentional time into growing my business. And that was 3 to 5 people a month. And then as I grew and took time away, I would put maybe an hour to an hour and a half, depending on what I had, a day. Now I'm selling my house, I'm homeschooling my kids, and I have a growing team. And what started me is sustaining me. I'm still growing my business on 30 minutes of intentional work every single day. So it's what you have. It's not what other people are doing. If you have 15 minutes, give it 15 minutes, not fluttering with paperwork. 15 minutes of intentional focused time, you can get it done. 30 minutes, done. When you grow your business and you have more freedom, you have more time. Right now, I'm 5 years in, I don't have that time, like I just said. So 15 to 30 minutes in the morning, bing, bang, boom, done. And then I'm peeing on the toilet and I'm like responding to Stacy, I'm responding to this person. And then I'm like, okay, good, done. Gotta go paint the house or do whatever I have to do. That's what I'm doing. So it's what you have. That's it.
Yeah. And I think one thing that you brought up that's good is it's intentional time. And probably one of my biggest errors in the beginning was, one, reinventing the wheel, and two, trying to, or doing a whole lot of activities that aren't necessarily business building activities. So as your upline coaches, that's our job, hopefully, to guide you in that. But also there's tons of training to help you figure out like what actually is going to help me build my business. And pretty graphics and taking the time to make those are cool, but you know, they may not. So for me, I probably spend anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half a day, work-wise. What about you, Emmy? Sorry.
Probably that. And what I mean, like legit, like I watch no TV. Like I like watching personal development. So I don't have TV on during the week. And when I do my power hour, I just rather just do that than like I got a DVR. You know what I'm saying? Like Saturday, I don't really work the business because I want to be around hubby and be present. So I try to learn how to do that. But and maybe Sunday, like 6 o'clock at night, I know people are like, it's like a soft point for people. Like they just ate like crap, you know what I mean? So then I start messaging people. It's kind of like that kind of thing. You kind of like know what time, when to message people. You know what I mean? You kind of figure the flow out. But like I legit work 45 hours a week on call center job, working overtime. And I'm like literally in between laundry and going pee and messaging people, like, you know what I mean? Like in pockets of time, like, you know, I'm a grandma too. I got to babysit my grandbaby sometimes, and I'm a marathoner. I train for a marathon. I'm chasing 50 states. So like I have zero time, but I force it in and I don't watch TV. Like I really just focus on that pocket of time. And I've learned to do that over time. I used to like, you have to give up the Bachelorette sometimes. Like, I mean, if you want your dreams to matter, like I give up stuff, you know what I mean? And so that's just real talk.
Yeah, I think it's about priorities and kind of figuring out like, what do I want most? And sometimes I might want to watch When Calls the Heart most, and that's so.
But truthfully, giving that up to what you get in the end,
yeah,
it's worth it.
Yeah. Jen.
I feel like I should do more than what I do, honestly, but I would say half hour to an hour. But I started last year really trying to get going with it. And instead of sleeping in and getting up when the baby got up, I started waking up at 5, getting stuff done, and then not using his nap time to work out, which is what I was doing. And I used that time to try to be intentional with my business. So either that or even just personal development. And I still watch TV, but I have cut down on how much I watch. And I usually do have a podcast going or something like that, just to try to, you know, get as much out of my time as I can. But half an hour to an hour, honest. I mean, like, and I always have, you know, between chasing the baby around or whatever I'm doing, it's just like, because I'm at home now, I'm not doing anything outside of the house working, but it's still done in the cracks of the time during the day. So, you know, if that made sense.
Jen, how did you feel like that transition between being like a full-time transplant nurse and this?
It was really weird. I actually made a post about that today because it was very weird for me to go in, because I was doing 2 jobs. I was working 60 hours a week, and then I went to doing nothing. And it was really weird to not have not only a job and something to go do, but not to have my own income either. And it messed with me for a while. And then I was like, hello, this has been in front of me for years. Why not go with it? So that's when I started. When we were over there, I started trying to dive into it. And then like after Ethan was born, I decided that I really need to get going because I don't want to throw him in daycare. So.
Well, I must tell you, if it means anything to you, before you even did the Beachbody thing, or maybe you just started, I would come to the meetings and go to those huddles in the morning, and it would be my turn to be the huddler person. I always looked up to you and thought you were so gorgeous. And like,
Aww.
I mean,
Thanks.
I really do mean that. And
Thank you.
You know, so that's why I asked you at one point in your little cubicle, like, what are you doing?
Yep, been doing Beachbody for 5-6 years.
Yeah, well, I can tell, and I'm super proud to be a part of your group. So yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. I think as far as time is concerned, what saves a lot of time too is figuring out systems. And every coach has different levels of organization, and it's kind of like your house that you live in. Some of us are pretty happy living in chaos, and others are like, I need everything like this and really clear cut with my systems. But I think figuring out systems saves a lot of time. Some of us use Google Streak, which is a way of organizing our customers, and we can send out emails easily and things like that. So those are the types of things that, it's a learning process to figure out what works for you as to how best to do this. People talked about money. If you want more questions, you want to learn about the compensation plan, that's a question you can ask the person who invited you, just for the sake of time. But in the beginning, our primary way of earning is commission from things. But as you start to build a team, that kind of opens up the compensation plan. Bottom line, multi-level marketing, this is considered an MLM. If anybody else, other coaches wants to speak to this, feel free to butt in. But yeah, go for it, Marissa.
A Ponzi scheme is something that you do not get a product in return. It's something that you just invest in. A MLM marketing system is something that you get a product that you digest or you consume monthly, and that is legal. We have our own lawyers. We have our own corporate people that deal with the law for that reason. So a Ponzi scheme is something that you go and you invest in to like an internet system, and then these 3 people make money, but you don't actually get a product into return right away. What you get is a product in return, and and you're consuming it every single month. It's completely different.
Yeah.
And those are illegal.
Pyramid scheme. Yeah. And I think it's, we see so many different MLMs out there. And the one thing that I always have come back to is like, they're all awesome. People are getting the opportunity to work from home, to raise their kids from home, or to just have side money or whatever. What I love about Beachbody, just to put this out there, is like, I love purses. I love earrings. I don't need them, but I need to be healthy. Like I need to, or at least, it's a good thing. Life will be better if I'm healthy. And so that's kind of the beautiful thing here, is like, it doesn't matter if, you have weight to lose or you don't have weight to lose, you have whatever. It's like this is for everybody. Not everybody needs to go this route, but we have something that can be a blessing to anybody. And especially in this time of COVID, not that we are capitalizing on COVID, but what an opportunity to provide life to people in a season when people are really kind of, grabbing at straws of like, and really, frankly, I think we can all probably relate. How many of us were like, I'm going to bake all the things in the beginning of quarantine, and then you feel like crap, right? But just what we have to offer. This was the first time in my life that I was ever consistent with exercise. Like I'm 37. I'll be 38 in 2 months. But it took me until the age of 31, 32, until I finally actually did something consistently. And it was because of Beachbody. It was because of that fitness and nutrition and accountability. The other questions that kind of were around, we had some questions about how do I get started? That's, again, you're not going to be flying solo on your own. First of all, Beachbody has a ton of tools, all sorts of resources. We have a national training call every week. If you want the information, it's there for you. What a coach, upline sponsor, the person who you sign under, will not do for you or should not do for you is hold your hand and guide you through every single thing that you need to do, because that responsibility is on us. We have to choose to do it. It's kind of like you have to choose to press play on your workout. But as your upline sponsor, we want you to be successful. We want to see your life blessed as ours has been. And at this point, no matter how long we've been in the business, we've made mistakes and we've done things well. And we're here to kind of share that and walk you through that process. But there are resources to help you get started. And we're still your coach. Like, I know there's a question of like, do I still get accountability? yeah, and taking part in a group and having people that you're kind of checking in with too is really great accountability. I think coaches who are in here, were there any other questions that popped up that you really want to speak to? What I think what I'm going to say is that so many of the questions that I saw in the group boil down to the need for personal development that we all have, whether it's I struggle with time management, or I struggle with believing if I can do this. I get it. Or, how do I lead people? Those are all things that we have to commit and say, okay, I'm going to fail forward. I'm going to fail with flair, whatever your phrase is. Or even, my kind of lines that I always share with my team and my challenge groups are present over perfect, progress over perfection. Is like commit to being here, commit to doing it, because it's worthwhile, and be okay. If any of you are doing 30-day breakaway, our newest program, she says, basically, shoot, I just forgot it. I made a post today. Go look at my timeline. But basically, like, be a beginner. Like, be a beginner, and be willing to be a beginner, to learn, to grow, to say, well, that didn't work, I'm going to try this, rather than like, oh shoot, I suck, I quit. So we are to close this out. I'm going to put up a post right after we hop off of here with a couple more resources. There is a fabulous 10-minute video. Basically, it's called something like What I Didn't Expect. But it's a whole bunch of coaches sharing kind of like, this is what I thought about it. I thought, about the business, and then here's kind of what I got from it. I would really encourage you to take the time to watch that. But here's the thing. If you help one person, if you just help one person and it changes their lives, is it worth it? Yeah. And here's the other thing. Even if you only ever help one person, you actually probably help two, because your life is going to be better. And that might seem cheesy, but like, oh my gosh, like, I am so thankful. And it's not just me. It's my family now. It's my husband. It's my kid. So it's this much bigger picture that even if you didn't have, the huge business and you're earning 6 figures, but gosh, you had like 10 people and their lives are changed. What I always say is this is generational. Like, you have the potential to change generations. And it's not just a physical thing, like mindset, emotional. If the faith aspect of it is a big part of what I do and what I care about, gosh, all of that, there is just potential to change generations with this. Any final questions that are just, you're like, man, please will you talk about this?
I don't have a question.
Yeah, go
for it. When I started this business, it sounds super corny and cheesy, but they tell you to write out your goals every single day. And if I couldn't, literally it said, if I can inspire one person today, then I achieved my goal. And I would post the stupidest stuff every single day. If you ever go back 5 years to what I used to post. But I inspired more than one person. And that is what this is. Whether they join you or not, you're influencing other people's lives, and you're breathing hope, especially in a time right now, into other people's lives. And I 100% believe it 5.5 years later. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Any other closing comments from coaches?
So like Jen, will you get a hold of me, or I'm asking this for everybody, and let me know what I need to do? 'Cause I've done this before and didn't keep up with it, but
I just sent you a message.
Oh, I love you.
Yes, I sent you a message.
Fellow transplant nurse.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. All right.
Yeah. As you're the person who invited you will follow up, and if we don't follow up quick enough and you're like, I want to talk about this, or I have this question, or I'm ready now, darn it, then send us a message. But yeah, it's life-changing. It's awesome. but it's also one of those things that, you know what, if you decide that, hey, now's not the time, but I just want to focus on me for now, that's fine too. But that somebody always says, or a lot of people often ask, like, when am I going to be, is it the right time? It's never the perfect time for anything, right? So yes, it needs to be the right time, but is it, you know, that's just something to consider. Is you're not going to probably have, you don't need to learn everything. You don't need to have all your ducks in a row. You just kind of need to decide, first of all, to commit to yourself, because our number one job is to take care of our own selves. So cool. All right. Yes, Jennifer Nelson, don't wait for the perfect time. It doesn't exist. Well, thank you, ladies, for being on here. I did record it. I remembered about 5 minutes in. So I will post this in the group as well tomorrow in case you want to come back and, you know, for further inspiration. But we hope you have a great night, and don't hesitate to continue to work through those videos, ask questions, connect. And we are just glad that you were here with us. So thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.